This past year, it has become easier than ever for a print-on-demand seller to get started. In fact, brands like Yoga Stay that took us months to build before we were able to grow it to multiple seven figures can now get started in literally a weekend, genuinely speeding up the process by over 90% when we know how to use AI properly. My name is Chris Ekman, and I've been running Shopify print-on-demand brands for the last 8 years of my life. And in just the past 12 months alone, we've generated over $1.2 million in sales on our brand. And what I'm about to show you is the exact AI stack that I would use if I had to start over completely from scratch today. And these are tools that you've probably heard of before, but a lot of people out there are just using them in the wrong way that generates just AI slop. But the good news is that when we know the proper approach and the key elements that we need to create for our brand and the right ways to prompt the AI, we're able to create something truly unique that stands out in crowded markets and allows us to build a solid brand foundation for ourselves. And right out of the gate, we're going to correct one of the biggest beginner mistakes in step one, and that is choosing a niche that has a large enough addressable market and one that we are truly passionate about. To correct this, we're going to go over to ChatGPT and ask it for print-on-demand niches or markets that have a total addressable size of more than 50 million people globally. And then as a follow-up to that, we're going to ask it which niche aligns with my own personal interests or background experience. Now, this can go one of two ways. If you are a consistent ChatGPT user, like many of us are, then it will already have this information about you as a user that it can then apply and give you feedback on which niche would be best. But if you're also like a lot of other people who haven't used ChatGPT, you might have tested it once or twice, but don't use it in your day-to-day, then you can ask it instead to give you questions to answer that will help it determine what would be the ideal niche for you to get into. And the reason that this is a key step to make sure we do not skip is that it makes sure that we are going into a market that, one, has enough people that we are able to build a sizable brand in without encountering too steep a competition, and two, that it's something that we ourselves are really passionate about, which nothing sucks more than to put a lot of effort into building a brand only to realize like a month or two in that it's not really a topic that we really care all that much about. And sitting down to work on designs and do our research just feels like pulling teeth. So we can avoid all of that by following these prompts in step one. And then once we've chosen our niche, we jump into Everbee, which is step two, to make sure that we are researching and meeting the market right where they are. Now, there are lots of research tools out there, but I personally like Everbee the most because they are consistently pulling Etsy data every single day to make sure that they are always sharing the latest and most up-to-date insights with you. It pulls live Etsy data, best-selling products, the exact keywords that people are searching for, pricing, and even the listing age. And they've even added a new feature with trends. So you're able to see if the product or design that you're researching is trending upward and aka a good time to start creating designs like that, or if it's trending downward and we'd be better off looking elsewhere. And then for bonus points, if you don't know what you're looking at when you're researching in Everbee, I know it can be a lot of numbers and lots of stuff to sift through. If you simply take a screenshot using just, if you're on Mac, Command-Shift-4, you can take a screenshot of the entire page, or the entire dashboard that you're looking at, and then drop that into the same ChatGPT conversation that we set up in step one. This is then going to allow ChatGPT to not only see and look at all the research, but it also now has an understanding of the niche and the market that you're going after, and it can help you analyze and make heads or tails of which designs are really standing out. And you don't have to do this every time, because after going back and forth with ChatGPT just 2 or 3 times, you're going to start to get the hang of what it is looking for. So then you can do the same thing for yourself next time you log into Everbee to do your research. Now that we've done our research and we've chosen our niche, we now need to actually put pen to paper and create designs that are designed to be print-on-demand products. And this can be a big challenge for a lot of beginners, because while there are many great AI tools out there, the vast majority of them are all designed to be generalist tools, kind of like Canva, where they can do a little bit of everything, or Photoshop, where they can do little bit of everything, but it's more complicated. So that's why we created Mystic POD to be the AI tool specifically for print-on-demand sellers. So you're able to take all of the research that we just completed in Everbee and then go over to Mystic. And the really cool thing about it, in my opinion, is that you're able to just simply drop in your ideas and you don't have to do any prompt engineering. Because the benefit of using Mystic is we know that every design that you are trying to get out should end up on a t-shirt or a mug or a phone case or whichever product type you've selected. And more than that, we know that as print-on-demand sellers, we are not just trying to make 1 or 2 designs and, spend an entire afternoon to walk away with one half-decent design that we might be able to sell. We work in terms of batches. We want to be able to create hundreds of designs at a time, not just 1s and 2s. So that's why the entire workflow inside of Mystic is designed to allow you to speed up that process by remixing off of our template catalog, adding new designs to collections, and then in bulk being able to remove background and upscale, and then quickly speed up the process for when you sit down to start designing to when you have 100 designs that are ready to be launched on your store. Once we've got our 100 designs, we're then able to move on to step 4, which is plugging them into Printify. And Printify takes all of the artwork that we've created and automatically applies it to dozens of mockups. And you can even apply it to, even though we start with primarily t-shirts, you can apply it to any product that they have in their catalog almost instantly. And while AI doesn't have a hand in this step in particular, it's honestly a good thing because this is, one of the old sayings of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And Printify has been working perfectly well for us on our brands for years and years, and it's our preferred provider. And once we've got our 100 designs, we're then able to use Printify's bulk mockup feature, which, trust me, would have been a godsend when we were creating our first brands years ago. We used to have to sit there or work with designers who would sit there and go design by design, trying to recreate each one perfectly on a flat lay mockup. Now we are literally able to drag and drop these designs into Printify's new mockup tool that automatically applies it to dozens of different mockups. And something that has been around but is still pretty amazing and worth noting is that we're able to do that same process and apply it to any number of products in their catalog. So while we do start with t-shirts, if it's interesting to you, you're able to see how your designs would look like on canvas wall art or on mugs or phone cases. And it allows us to have the flexibility to rapidly expand the products that we're offering through our store. So that process alone literally used to take weeks, and now it's possible in just a couple of days at most. And so far up until now, every application we've talked about with AI is something that's just speeding up the process for us, which is great. But the often overlooked use case for AI is in creating really novel concepts that allow us to stand out in the market. And that's why in step 5, we're going to be going back into ChatGPT to create our brand voice. And this brand voice, while it sounds like just a flashy catchphrase, it is truly one of the best ways for us to stand out in crowded markets and really connect with our audience. So picture somebody who checks out from your store and they receive just a canned email reply saying, "Congrats, order confirmed." It's like they've received 1,000 of those. Opposed to if they receive an email that, say, if you're in the yoga niche, includes like a quote or a article written by somebody in your company or your avatar saying like, "Here's your daily reminder to just breathe," or a mindfulness quote, or maybe even reimagine the entire email so that it's something completely on brand. And then the way that we do this is by going back into the same ChatGPT conversation, which you're noticing by now, it's really key to help keep it in the same thread, if at all possible, because it really makes sure that it builds upon itself in the conversation. I think a lot of times people will just start a new chat every time they log in, which is fine. Like, it's great that you're using it to begin with, but we can really start to coach it to build like a brand book for us by just simply consolidating everything into the same chat. But anyway, once we're in ChatGPT, we're going to prompt it with something like this. So act as a D2C, which stands for direct to consumer brand copywriter. My store sells, and then insert your niche. But for example, outdoorsy apparel for golden retriever moms, and then write ... And as a bonus tip here, don't have it write everything that you need for your brand, because the longer the prompt is or the longer the output, basically the less effort that it puts into it. So for example, if I was to ask it to write a 50-page book, it won't even do that. It'll go like to the max of its context window, but it will essentially just start mailing it in. Opposed to if we say put a ton of effort and thought into just one specific thing, like the ones that we have listed here is your product descriptions, and you would just go, you could do these in batches of like 5 products at a time, or your about page. If you ask it to just do the about page first, it's going to do a phenomenal job. Opposed to if you ask it to create, all of these at the same time, it's going to do okay. Like, it's still incredible. AI's, life-changing, but it's not going to be the highest quality work. So a couple of tips that we've covered so far is to make sure that you're keeping all of this within the same chat, if at all possible. If it gets split up, don't worry about it, but just do your best. And then second is if you're ever not liking the quality of the content that it's putting out, just simply chunk it down and prompt it to do one thing at a time. And then some other things that we can ask it to prompt, which is basically anywhere that we have our brand voice listed or that would be shown off through our website, is our product page, our homepage, our about page. The about page is one of the most important. That's like really the story of your brand. And you can check out Yoga Stay for an example. And then the email welcome flows. And email can be a whole separate project in and of itself. But for now, just 80-20 principle, just customize the confirmation email that somebody receives after they place an order with your brand. Because when you do this in the way that we've described, it absolutely nails the brand voice that it comes up with for you. And it saves me days of writing. Now let's talk about traffic, because back in the day, I got to have the absolute pleasure of creating one individual design per product, which if you've never run ads for a print-on-demand brand before, all you need to know is that we pretty much create one separate ad per product. The reason we do that is that the benefit of running an apparel brand is all of the products we're creating basically is the ad creative, because it's so visual, which is a huge thumbs up. It's awesome for us. But the downside is that we have to sit there clicking, making an ad after the next, after the next. Nowadays, we don't have to do any of that, because what we use now is something called Facebook catalog ads. And these have been around for a while, several years now, but they used to be downright terrible, because what the catalog ad does is it connects directly to your brand site. Like we use Shopify, for example, and it pulls in all of your designs. So we launch with 100 products. Meta, Facebook, same thing, will automatically create 100 unique ads and runs all of them under the same ad. So basically picture, rather than having a desktop filled with 100 individual images, you just have one folder that you're looking at. And then all of the results, all of the ad spend, all of the budget that you're allocating, it all goes under one thing, which saves us a ton of time, not only in the setup, but also in the analysis when we're trying to figure out which designs have been performing the best. And again, there's always two sides of the coin, saving us time. And then 2 is the analysis and like the quality of the work that we're able to get. So before, I used to be manually deciding for Facebook that, hey, I think this one's doing well, I should spend more there. And I had to make all of these micro decisions day to day. Now we don't have to do any of that, because Meta does all of that heavy lifting for us. Because if it sees that on product A, color blue is performing the best out of the 1,000 variants that it tested, then it's going to automatically spend more on that kind of product. And it is that's just the most basic example. And it is doing those kind of decisions literally nonstop, like thousands of times per minute. So long story short, the better the quality of the product catalog and the size of the catalog, the better Facebook is able to perform, which used to be the opposite. It used to mean just more work that I have to complete, but that's no longer the case, fortunately. And I can't emphasize enough how big of an unlock this is for complete beginners getting started building their own Shopify print-on-demand brand. Because before, and I think for many of us watching, the biggest concern or apprehension about starting this is the ads and thinking that it's overly expensive or it takes a long time. And that is no longer the case. It really now comes down to how good of a job we did in steps 1 through 5, building a real brand with high quality products that resonate with our market, that we've chosen a niche that has a large addressable size. And it's something that we're passionate about. So we're able to stick with this for the long term and start to really see it as like a passion project opposed to just something we have to work on. When we do all those things and then we combine it with just meta catalog ads, it really, not to say any of this makes it easy. We're building real businesses here. This is not get rich quick or passive income or anything like that. But the effort that it used to require and the amount of time and just brutal trial and error has been greatly compressed nowadays thanks to AI. And one of my favorite quotes or things to keep in mind is that today is the worst that AI is ever going to be. So it is a super exciting time to get started and to start learning these tools hands-on. And now that you've watched at the end of this video, you know the best ways to be using them. At least you know my approach and how I've gotten the most value out of them. But I'd love to hear from you. What ways are you using AI for your print-on-demand business? What's been most effective for you? As well as what types of videos would you like to see us cover next? And if you want to learn more about how to build your Shopify print-on-demand brand, then click the link down below this video and you can join our free school community where we literally have 31 hours of free content, because I bought plenty of courses that turned out to be complete garbage. I didn't want that to happen to anybody else. So if you're able to put up with listening to my monotone voice for 31 hours, then the course is all yours. So without further ado, thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see more videos about Shopify print on demand and leveraging AI in today's day and age. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.